can't even go there. Like, I don't even know this, what this is even doing to him. You know, I actually hadn't been in an environment where I'd seen anyone on ice before.
Sure.
So I wasn't really looking for any signs. All I could see was that you were not yourself. At all. Like, and you can say, even if I hadn't seen you for 5 years or spoken to you for 5 years, I would have walked in that door on that day, and I would have gone, who the hell are you? Where is David gone?
Okay.
You know, so there was definitely an emptiness in you.
Okay, so time stamping along. So that's December 2015. We go through a Christmas period. We'll keep pushing along because it's important that we try and get every part of the story in the process, because there's so much to talk about, and everyone's going to have their own experiences like this. But if we we'll hit the key time. So December, we roll through. So let's just so Christmas is done. I think if Cath's happy for it, I may share a photo of the family sitting, or Belinda and me sitting, and Cath sitting at what is our beautiful outdoor entertaining area at home, and you can have a look at the dynamic of that photo. I might get that, if I can work out how to do a video, I might get that to pop up right now. You can have a look at the body language. It is an amazing shot. It encapsulates the feeling of what was going on. Anyway, we'll push through that period, go into January. So silly season ends. We're in the second half of the second year lease of the pub, so we're rolling into January, February, with the lease looking like it was going to expire at the end of June, and we were still entertaining the idea of purchasing this pub off our family friends, and me staying in Cara for a long time. So that was always something that was playing out the back. So how did things? Let's push through January, February, March. We know intervention was sort of early July, mid-July. What's before June? May. End of May, leading into June, into that last month. So let's try and get as much as we can, sort of February to May. So how did things play? What was the game plan?
So I knew straight away, right then, that I actually was hoping that you would never re-sign the lease, and I knew that you would never be able to pull this off. And that was my only feeling. That wasn't supported by my father or my mother or my sister at all. I probably am a realist in a sense where I just couldn't believe that anyone around you was sort of not helping you. And I was like, why are his friends letting him get away with this? I'm here in Sydney, I'm running my life, I'm running my family, running my kids. And I suppose I just stayed away from Cara. I decided that distance was something that I needed to do. I felt like I wasn't strong enough to maybe take on this battle, and that David was definitely in no way, shape or form even going to accept me asking him. He was, you could feel this, the drug brutality going through his system. It was almost like this little, sort of rippling of like, if you come near me, I'm gonna do you over in a big time and put you in your place, right? I felt more threatened than anything else, also because I always had this sort of, I don't know, I suppose with ICE you have that that thing that the media has told you, the violence, the spontaneous physical things that people can do. So without a grasp on all of that, I thought it was really important for me to educate myself and work out 100% where I wanted to go with this information. Coincidentally, Dave has some incredible mates, and which he would have spoken about over the course of these Recovery Now videos. Can I say their names with Pete?
Sure.
Well, it was Slippers. Slippers was the first name I heard. As Pete Dean is Dave's one of his best mates, sort of rang me and said, look, Slippers has called me. He's been in Cara a couple of weekends over this course of these few months. We want to say to you, 100% sure that your brother's having a real problem with ICE. I remember everything just going hot and everything around me just going completely silent, and I knew it. You know, when you say, God, I fucking knew it, but you almost get given permission then to launch. But what do I do? What do I do with this information? So I call his other best mate Ratty. I call a couple of his best mates in Cara. That's Colin Kilby and Colin's amazing wife Belinda, and Maddie Bargwanna. There were some key people that I've grown up with my whole life. Being that Cara is the kind of town it is, you have these connections forever. So once I heard from these people, these solid, wonderful people, that look, Cath, what the problem is, we've all wanted to tell and talk to your mum and dad about this, but we don't know how to. Now the funny thing is isn't that interesting, where 35-year-old brother his friends wanted to go to his parents. But that's the way Cowra works, because it's a family business. That's the way it is. A lot of people still do include their parents in their lives with their decisions and things. And if there are problems, I think that's an incredible benefit for us. But
okay,
so it went from there.
So we went from you yourself.
Am I rambling?
No, not at all. No, you go. No, it's perfect. So I just want to make sure we'll just get so people. And this is the thing. This is the thing. There was no. I'm sure that. There's some great resources out there that are screaming, but we're here, why don't you use us? And this is what I want recovery to be about, is about, and at the moment, I'm not ready to point to those resources, whatever, but we'll get there. But we just want to get the stories together. Did you feel, was there an online resource? Was there or did you feel like, you probably spent a bit of time on the internet looking at methamphetamine use and stuff like that, but did you feel that there was a drop-in mental health facility that maybe you could take mum and dad to in Cowra? Or
no, what happened?
How did you feel you were going to attack this?
What happened was...
from a professional perspective, was there any professional advice you think you could get?
Yeah.
I just want to touch on that first and then talk about what you actually did. So did you feel you could engage anyone?
Yeah, so straight away I rang a couple of the hotline numbers. Now, I have to say that is one of the most difficult. I still believe Australia hasn't got it right. I had to bounce around between hotline to find an actual ICE line. I wanted the ICE line, right? And it was like talking to some incredibly wonderful women who had dealt with, obviously, people over the phone and addictions and all of that sort of stuff, but they weren't helping me with the information that I wanted to get about my brother and his particular situation. So they referred me to a couple of different clinics and to see if I can talk to some specialist people there within certain clinics. And I rang Northside Clinic and had an amazing conversation with a lady there. However, Northside don't deal with ICE patients. So they sent me off to talk to the City Clinic, one of the ones in the Sydney Clinic, I think it's called. And again, it was pretty much, though, everyone was saying the same thing. It's like until David came, because I actually thought I could grab you, take power of his life and put him where I wanted him to be, and I would know he was safe. No. David has to get himself in there. It has to be all under his choice, and he has to be willing to go. Yeah, there was nothing I could do. I was powerless to sign you in and to work out and what to do. So...
and that message was the same from everyone, that it had to be my journey, so that you didn't receive any different advice. No. That we've got an intervention team with a white truck and stuff like that.
They did say that they were really scared of the word. I'd say two ladies said they were really scared of the word intervention, and what they felt that they needed to create was a room of trust, and that may be one person at a time. Yep. But it was very hard to even imagine how we could get you to settle down and talk to us, because you were flying blindly on this drug. You were absolutely just day by day, hour by hour. So any pre-planning is really hard to do. Anything that you think is going to go to textbook will never ever go to textbook.
And that you certainly felt that, like you felt that.
I knew as soon as then I launched into reading a couple of books about some ice addicts, some recovering ice addicts, because I had to educate myself about the drug. I had to know what he was putting into himself and what was happening with his mind. Sure. So from there, it just sort of, I suppose, steamrolled into making that call to my dad, which was the most heartbreaking thing I had to do. Talk about my brother and what was going to be ahead for him, and that we knew that we were going to have to go on this journey with him. There was no way he was going to do it on his own. So I felt like I'd been given this commander-in-chief role, which was just accidental, because his mates felt comfortable to call me as one of David's sisters and say, look, we've had enough, this has got to stop. So I felt like I should be in charge, but then that's not what happens. The drug is always in charge. No brother, no sister, no parent is ever in charge at that point in time. And I learnt my lesson very, very, very quickly.
Let's get to that point. So let's talk about the nitty gritty stuff, the juicy story, the hard part. So we get to so there'd been, we'll talk to the boys about the intervention, because you weren't present at that. No. So, and everyone, again, it's on my videos, you can hear about that. Let's get to probably what we could almost call sort of intervention 2, which was sort of trying to get me in a situation, or a social situation with more relaxed with mum and dad and yourself, to talk about the situation and how I was progressing, because at this particular point of that particular moment that we tried, or it was tried to be manufactured, I'd agreed. that yes, I was going to make some changes. I'd agreed that, so I'd been through...
We're up to July, if this is, because you and I didn't see each other until Yumcha.
Correct, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So we're now pushed through to July. Okay, so I just want people to know, so let's get the point of the relationship stopping for the first time. So Yumcha at Rhodes on a Sunday, me under the influence of the drug. I was in research mode in Sydney for a potential, what's the other sister? Piss off, Belle. She obviously knows we're talking.
I'm just doing a little video, Belle. I'll call you back.
We're on camera, all right? Bugger off.
See ya. See you soon.
So we get to... So I'd come back to Sydney, was in research mode for counsellors, doctors, and a job. So I'd been to see Moose, I'd done a couple of trials at a pub, was looking at potentially getting in the hospitality industry in Sydney, and Moose, a great mate, was talking about mentoring me back into a job, maybe post-rehab once I decided to go into a facility. Anyway, we get to a Sunday where we decided to get together and just, I suppose that was, I'll talk in the eye. I sort of knew that it was just going to be, I thought it was going to be fairly much just a social event, but still being under the influence of the drug. Also was a little bit paranoid about the situation. I thought something might have been coming. So we get to halfway through the Yumcha, and what was fairly sort of cordial, jovial, but awkward sort of conversation about general life, then turned very quickly to about my situation, very abruptly. And you and I were sitting almost
like
right and
this.
left. And I
asked you to look me in the eye. I said, look me in the eye. You couldn't look me in the eye. You were talking about, I think that just a little side note here is, when David was functioning on ice, his mind was the most extraordinary thing. The plans and the narcissism and the self. It was him, me. I don't think you actually asked us how we were and how the kids.
No.
It was